I'm Lucy Robinson, and today I'm joined here with Dallas's very own legal ops celebrity, Richard Robinson. Now, Rich, we've been well acquainted for some time, considering you are my father.
I'd say so.
But why don't you introduce yourself to all the listeners?
Yeah, so I am Richard Robinson. I'm the Director of Legal Operations and Litigation Support for Toyota Motor North America. I've been in the Dallas area for almost 20 years now, coming up on 20 years. Before Toyota, I was with JCPenney in a similar role, and before that, in a couple of law firms and even an e-discovery service provider here in Dallas.
Fantastic. And thank you for taking the time to come on this podcast with me, even if you didn't have a choice.
Right.
Now, I'm curious, what motivated you to begin a career in the legal industry?
It's funny, my career in the legal industry was a series of perhaps mishaps or kind of following where jobs led me. It wasn't so much something that I pursued. It was just something that kind of happened to me. My degree was in psychology, and I was really interested in pursuing that career path. I was working with adolescents. I ran a group home for troubled teens for 3 years right out of college, and I thought that's where I was going. But when we started building a family, it became pretty evident that the pay scale for working with teens and doing social work wasn't exactly what I wanted to be able to provide for the family. So I moved into sort of standard corporate America, right? I actually got a job at a call center for a bank, and then moved into a law firm up in Boston when one of my coworkers from the bank got a job there and said it was a great position. So I moved from originally, I joined as a member of the help desk, and then I was a manager of the help desk, and then I moved into applications development for legal, and then I got pulled in on a case where I was asked to help with a pretty intense litigation. It was called the State of Rhode Island versus Lead Industries of America, where the Rhode Island Department of Health was suing the lead industries for lead paint poisoning of their children, and I helped with identifying data within a SQL database, and that kind of got me hooked into it. I thought it was like solving a puzzle, which was something that I love to do, and then it was e-discovery the whole way from there on out.
Never looked back.
Right.
Well, the reason Right Discovery is so curious to hear from you today is to discuss your upcoming stint as the MC of the Master Conference newest event, Legal Power Skills in New York. I only recently entered into the world of litigation, but I bet I'm not the only one who has never heard of the term legal power skills. Could you tell me a little bit about what legal power skills are and what inspired you to want to dedicate an entire day to talking about them at the Masters Conference?
Yeah, that's a great question. Kevin Clark came to me probably late last year, late 2023, and said that the Masters Conference was interested in expanding the types of events that it was bringing to the legal community. And what he approached me about was specifically to do an event on legal operations, and asked me if I would be interested in putting something together. And my initial and immediate response was no thank you. There are plenty of other legal operations events and leaders in that space, and I thought that it wasn't something that I was incredibly passionate about. So I wanted to kind of look inward and say, what am I passionate about, right? I'm coming up on 25 years in this industry, and I am starting to think about what is motivating me to finish out my career, what motivates me to get to my retirement. And it's not so much necessarily the electronic discovery or legal operations. It's not contract lifecycle management or enterprise legal management. Those aren't the things that really propel me on a day-to-day basis and bring me joy. It's the interaction with people, which is funny because it brings me back to what I originally started doing, right? Back to the psychology, back to the social work. It's what I think has propelled me in my career was not necessarily my understanding of the EDRM or of the clock core competencies. I think that my skill sets and those paradigms certainly have given me the trust of my colleagues, the attorneys that I work with and work for. But it's really my skills on the personal side and interpersonal side that have really made me a success in the industry. And so I wanted to start thinking about, well, how could I articulate that to others in the field when we have all of these e-discovery conferences? There's probably 4 or 5 a year that I attend, and then there's multiple legal operations conferences where we talk about, generative AI and ESI protocols and contract lifecycle management, and we talk about all these things, and they're wonderful and they're important, but we stopped focusing on the skill sets, the soft skill sets that really propel us to the next level of our career. And so those are things like communication, collaboration, emotional intelligence, ingenuity, adaptability, and leadership, right? And so those are the things that I decided I wanted to focus on, and all the subcategories of them, right? Like within communication, we talk about storytelling, and within ingenuity and adaptability, there's innovation. So those are the things that I really wanted to talk about. And so I came up with this concept of legal power skills because they are the skills, the power skills that propel us in our careers. And that's what I put together, this concept and this idea, and I brought it back to Kevin, and he said, let's go, let's run with it. This sounds great. We're going to put something together, and that's what we did.
Interesting. So do you consider yourself a master of these power skills?
Far from it. And that's why I think it's so important that, I think I am good at certain aspects of it, but certainly not all aspects of it. There are pieces of it that I struggle with, especially because I consider myself, and I think a lot of us in both the e-discovery and legal ops space consider ourselves introverts. Mm-hmm. We tended to be nerds, right? Yeah. So certainly the communication skills are things that we have to work on in order to be good at, in order to excel. So I benefit just as much from having this conference as everyone that I'm inviting to join us. The people that I've invited to speak on each of the categories, the 6 core power skills, I think are experts in their space. Mm-hmm. And I am really looking forward to what they have to share with us.
And do you believe these skills can be taught, or are they something that individuals need to discover on their own?
I think that everybody has a natural talent, an inherent talent for any one of these skills. And like any other talent, they can be honed or enhanced with additional training. But it's different for every person. Certainly some people are just natural orators. They speak and you're drawn to them immediately. And some people aren't. Some people really struggle with speaking. They get caught up on their words. They use fillers like and they take time to really form a sentence because they don't have it already figured out in their head. Some people have that natural skill and some people don't. So there are opportunities within the industry and even outside the industry to hone those skills. For example, Toastmasters. Anybody can find the Toastmasters for their area and go join and become a part of it and learn to give speeches better. So it would be helpful to have industry-specific ones because there are certain aspects of the legal industry that only people who work in it really understand. So I do think that a conference or an event like Legal Power Skills with the Masters Conference is going to be a great opportunity to learn and enhance some of those skills. But I think there are other ways to do it as well.
I might have to check that out. Toastmasters.
Oh man, I would definitely do it. I should still do it. I still struggle with fillers and all of this.
Well, I can't wait to see what's in store, and hopefully I will see all of you listeners at the Masters Conference on July 25th in New York City. There's still time to register. The link will be included below. And also check out Right Discovery's page at www.rightdiscovery.com to learn more about e-discovery and the legal world. Thank you, Rich, for giving us a little peek into what to expect, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Lucy, for the time.